Ben, thank you for joining me for this conversation about what is happening at Women's Center for Advancement.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Tell me about the work.
Okay, so the WCA, we've been around supporting victims of domestic violence in our community since 1893. So really our mission is to help victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and stalking, as well as their children, to achieve safety and lead self-determined lives. And so the work is, I think it's safe to say, more extensive than a lot of people think. According to the CDC, about 41% of women and close to a quarter of men will experience some form of intimate partner violence, such as domestic violence, in their lifetime. So, the WCA, each year we serve over 4,300 survivors, and then over 4,000 children or secondary survivors who are in those family units.
It's a full wraparound services of someone beginning a new life and a new journey, right?
Yes, for sure. And I think that that's by design, right? Because we try to do as much as we can in-house. We definitely have lots of great partners that we refer to and partner with on all kinds of things. But when somebody's in a really desperate, traumatic situation, it's sort of re-traumatizing to send them to six different places, put them in a big, long
Mhm.
wait list because really they're needing the immediate support. And so I think that that's why the work ends up encompassing so many different aspects, is because we don't want to re-traumatize them by having them tell their story to seven different entities, right? They should be able to come in and work with their case manager to address all of it ideally. And that's the goal.
And right now you have a really impactful fundraising goal happening. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so right now we are fundraising around transportation assistance for victims fleeing violence. So when somebody calls our 24/7 hotline, it's often in the middle of a crisis. Maybe it's late at night, or like it is right now, it's the dead of winter, it's cold, but they need to get to safety immediately. They need to get out of their house or wherever they're staying. Many survivors just leave everything behind. Maybe their abuser controls their finances or their phone or their car if they're lucky to have one. And so the WCA spends over $50,000 a year on Uber rides. So these are rides to get survivors to a safe place. And really, this is not a luxury, it's a lifeline for survivors. But right now, this critical service for families is kind of coming out of our general operating budget, which means that we're constantly stretching to try to cover that resource, get as many rides as people as we can, allocate those resources when people are like, I need a ride to get home. So we're fundraising for this because we don't want any survivor to be trapped in a dangerous situation simply because they have no way out. Every dollar raised helps ensure that somebody who is ready to leave has the means to do so. We can get them to safety, no questions, no barriers, just immediate help. And we have a special kind of partnership with Uber where we are not needing to provide the names and details of the riders, and everything's billed directly to the WCA. And this is important for purposes of anonymity, right? For somebody who's in a domestic violence situation that's controlling, we want to limit the amount of personally identifiable information out there in the world. So 94% of WCA clients are low to moderate income. Over 20% have no income. A lot of times they're relying on income from their abusers historically, which is kind of a control tactic. And so we want to replace all of the things that somebody's relying on their abuser for to get them to self-sufficiency. And a lot of times the very first piece of that puzzle is transportation. It's a huge barrier for a lot of families. And so a donation of even a small amount, like $30, $40, would be huge because that literally means that somebody is able to take that first step to a new life, get into a car, close the door, drive away, and then they'll come meet with us and get started on that new life, free from sort of that violence, and hopefully find some safety and some stability.